Jain and welcome again. In the modules of Contemporary South Asia, today I'll try to complete the chapters. In the previous modules, already we talk about Indo-Pakistan relationship, Indo-Pak relationship, the democracy in Pakistan. We talked about Bangladesh, Indo-Bangladesh relationship, then creation of Bangladesh and democracy in Bangladesh, and how earlier Bangladesh was having military rule and later it's become democracy and presently it's a democratic country. We talks about Nepal, how Nepal was an absolute monarchy. From absolute monarchy, the change into constitutional monarchy. Then again you can say it was absolute towards absolute monarchy, and after that now it's a democratic republican government they are having prime minister and the president right now. And in the previous video I have just given an introduction of Sri Lanka. So today we are going to discuss about the ethnic conflicts and democracy in Sri Lanka, what exactly the problems over there, then a little about Indo-Pak relationship, and after that India and its neighboring country, and the last one, that is the peace and cooperations. So a few topics are left out which probably that I am going to complete in this particular module, in the particular chapter. So dear all, in the previous class already I talked about a few things about Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka lies towards the southernmost part of India, which is in Indian Ocean. It's an island country, right? And in Indian subcontinent, Sri Lanka played very important role. Even in my previous class, I talked about that we had very good relationship with Sri Lanka. Earlier it was known as Ceylon or Lanka, you can say. In terms of this mythology, अगर हम पुराणिक समय से ही ले लें, तो India was having mythological relationship with Sri Lanka at that, right from the time of the Ramayana. So in the previous class, in the previous modules, I was talking about the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Towards exactly the northern and northeastern part of Sri Lanka, that is the narrow part you can see in that particular part of Sri Lanka, which is nearer to India towards, you can say, Tamil Nadu. So in Sri Lanka, if you can see in terms of the population, you can say more than 76% of the population, 78% of the population, they are Sinhala speaking people, right? 18% of the population, they are Tamils, out of which there are two types of Tamils. One is Sinhala, the Sinhalas Tamil, the Sinhala native Tamils, and the other one is the Indian Tamils, you can say. The Sinhala native Tamils, they migrated to Sri Lanka long days back, maybe 300, 400, 500 years back, you can say, right? So they constitute a particular proportion of the populations, and the Indian Tamils, so 5% and 13%, this is what the constituents. A part of the 7% of the population, they are Christian, because it was being ruled by the Europeans also. So this is what the ethnic composition of Sri Lanka. Like in India, we are having so many states, union territories, and the central government and the state government. So we are having a federal structure, federal government, central government and the state government. But Sri Lanka having unitary government. Though it's a democratic country and since independence 1948 के बाद, right, in the post independent, आज तक वहाँ पे always democratic system ही रहा, कभी भी military rule नहीं हुआ, because their constitution being made in such a way that democracy को आज तक कभी भी उनका army और armed forces overthrew नहीं किए हैं कभी भी, right? And more or less you can see that's it's a Buddhist country, and I told about, right? So Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Christians, and the others. This is what the basic social composition of Sri Lanka, right? But why this particular country is known as majoritarianism? Because the majority of them, they are Sinhalas and Buddhist, so that in government jobs and in so many things we can say they usually get the privileged, and all the privilege being given to that particular section of the society, and that create a rift between the Tamils and the Sinhalas. So basically the Tamils, they are from the India, and they constitute quite considerable now percentage, about 18% of the total population, they are Tamils. So always there is a clash between the rift between the Tamils and the Sinhalas. and which created a gulf between these two. And at the end, India has to interfere because the Tamilians, the Tamils, those who lived over there, they are not the privileged section of the society. उनको always दबा के रखा जाता है वहाँ पे. That's why from 1983 onwards, the militant organizations of LTTE was being formed. That is Liberation of Tigers of Tamil Eelam. Right? An organization was being formed by the Tamilians to fight against the government, and that's known as the guerrilla warfare, or you can say the insurgency. They're the insurgent, you can say, in the Sri Lanka, and these problems grew day by day, बढ़ता ही चला गया, and ultimately India has to interfere in these issues. The Sri Lankan problems involves people of Indian origin, and there is a considerable pressure from the Tamil people in India to the effect that the Indian government should protect the interest of the Tamils in Sri Lanka. And उसके बाद तो तमिल सिंगलास के बीच में ऐसे क्लैशेस होना शुरू हो गया कि ultimately the Indian government, they have to interfere, and the Tamils in India, they started demanding that let the Indian government interfere in the issue of Sri Lanka in order to protect the Tamilians. The government of India has from time to time to try to negotiate with the Sri Lankan government on Tamil question. But in 1987, the government of India, for the first time, got directly involved in the Sri Lankan Tamil question. India signed an accord and an agreement with Sri Lanka and sent troops to stabilize the relationship between Sri Lankan government and the Tamils. So the peacekeeping operation, the peacekeeping forces being sent. Eventually, the Indian army got into fight with LTT because उस एरिया में जाके उसको पीसफुल कोएक्जिस्टेंस बनाने के लिए जहाँ कोशिश करते किए, the Indian peacekeeping force IPKF being deployed over there, and this aggravated the issues again. They saw this as an attempt by India to interfere to the internal affairs of Sri Lanka. So in 1989, the Indian peacekeeping force pulled out from Sri Lanka, and it's created lots of problems over there. Even the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was being assassinated, and the link was directly to the LTT. Prabhakaran was the chief of the LTT at that time. So in the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, Sri Perumbudur, that was in the southern part of India, and the responsibility was being taken by LTT at the end. The Sri Lankan crisis continued to be violent. However, international actors, particularly the other country, also become the part and parcel, and they wanted to solve this particular issue of the Tamil issues, right? In spite of ongoing conflict, Sri Lanka has registered considerable economic growth. So इंडिया बहुत ट्राई किया है कि रिलेशनशिप बेटर हो, इम्प्रोवाइज हो जाए, एंड इट्स इम्प्रूव्ड ऑल्सो. स्टिल इट्स अ पीसफुल कंट्री. ऐसा कोई डिफरेंसेस ऑफ ओपिनियन नहीं है इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका के बीच में. यू आर हैविंग वेरी गुड रिलेशनशिप, वेरी गुड ट्रेड रिलेशनशिप, एंड ऑल दोज रिलेशनशिप आर देयर. इन स्पाइट ऑफ द इंटरनल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स, इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम्स उनके पास लाइट फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग अभी तक है. इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट, in Indian subcontinent, you can say the HDI, the Human Development Index, is the best in Sri Lanka in every respect, in terms of the GDP also, right? So this is all about Sri Lanka, and since its independence, because the formation of this particular country, till now they are having a democratic government with a basic democratic principle, but they are having a presidential form of government, and they don't have the federal structure. They are having a unitary form of government. And to most extent, you can say Indian government, they try to sort it out the issues of Sri Lanka over the year. So this is what you can say about Sri Lanka. We talk about, right? This already talked a lot. The Sri Lankan crisis continue to be violent. This already I talked about. So this is about Sri Lanka, right? Now, Indo-Pak conflicts. In Indo-Pak conflicts, already I discussed a little. In Indo-Pak conflicts, I think, if you can go back to my slides, I think I talked about Indo-Pak conflicts. Bangladesh. Right. Indo-Pak conflicts, already I discussed in that particular modules of Indo-Pak conflicts. इंडियन पाकिस्तान का जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स और जो डिफरेंसेस ऑफ ओपिनियन स्टार्ट होता है 1947 से, जब पार्टीशन होता है इंडिया का इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान का पार्टीशन होता है, एट दैट टाइम इटसेल्फ यू कैन से इट क्रिएट अ रिफ्ट बिटवीन दिस टू कंट्री एंड पाकिस्तान बीइंग क्रिएटेड, ईस्ट पाकिस्तान एंड वेस्ट पाकिस्तान एंड बीच में इंडिया होता है। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी आर हैविंग 562 प्रिंसली स्टेट्स। उसी प्रिंसली स्टेट्स को लेकर भी इंडिया और पाकिस्तान के बीच में कहीं ना कहीं कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है। कंट्री द स्टेट्स लाइक हैदराबाद, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, बहुत सारे जुनागढ़, बहुत सारे थे जो पाकिस्तान चाहता था इधर इंडिपेंडेंट रहे, एल्स दे बिकम द पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ पाकिस्तान। सो इंडियो पाक बीच, इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान के बीच में बहुत लंबा फाइट रहा, कभी भी रिलेशनशिप बहुत अच्छा नहीं रहा इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान के बीच में, राइट फ्रॉम द इंडिपेंडेंस टिल डेट। द पोस्ट कोल्ड वॉर एरा has not meant the end of the conflicts and tension in this particular region, and Indian जो हमारा इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट में जो टेंशन का बेसिक जो प्रॉब्लम है, यू कैन सी द टेंशन जो है, टेंशन इज दैट्स बिकॉज ऑफ इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान मोर और लेस, यू कैन सी। बट देयर आर ऑल्सो सम ऑफ द क्रूशियल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स ऑफ एन इंटरनेशनल नेचर गिवन इन द पोजिशन ऑफ इंडिया इन दिस रीजन। मोस्ट ऑफ these conflicts involve India. The most silent and overwhelming of this conflict in the course of the Pakistan soon after the partition, the two countries get embroiled into a conflict over the fate of Kashmir, and which is still continue. Kashmir kiska? The Pakistani government claimed the Kashmir belongs to it. Wars between India and Pakistan in 1947-48 and 1965 failed to settle the issue of Jammu and Kashmir, right? And recently, this Modi government, they scrapped Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir. Article 370 जम्मू एंड कश्मीर को स्पेशल प्रिविलेज एंड प्रोटेक्शन देता था, राइट? उसको हटा दिया गवर्नमेंट से। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट जम्मू एंड कश्मीर जो एक स्टेटहुड था उसको हटा के जम्मू, कश्मीर एंड लद्दाख को 3 यूनियन टेरिटरीज बना दिया गया एंड अलग एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव यूनिट बना दिया गया, सो दैट इट कुड बी अ बेटर कंट्रोल। बिकॉज जितना भी इन्फिल्ट्रेशन होता है पाकिस्तान से एंड क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म, दैट्स फ्रॉम द साइड ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर। And after you consider the scrapping of Article 370 and Jammu and Kashmir is being declared as 3 union territories, now the government, they are very proactive over there, and every day dozens of terrorists were being killed in encounters in that particular area. In 1947-48 wars resulted in the division of the provinces into Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that's otherwise known as POK, right? Indian that became the part and parcel of the Indian provinces, and at any time Indian government they used to give threat to Pakistan कि किसी भी टाइम हम लोग POK के ऊपर कब्जा करके उसको कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। India conflicts with Pakistan is also over a strategic issue like the control of the Siachen Glacier, right? The Siachen Glacier which was being given by China to Pakistan 1962 Chinese war में Siachen Glacier वो लोग चाइना कब्जा कर लिया था उनसे। The arms race between these two countries assume a new character with the both sides acquiring the nuclear weapons missile against each other. In 1998, India conducted the nuclear explosions in Pokhran during the Prime Ministership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and immediately Pakistan under Pervez Musharraf also conducted the nuclear test in Chagai Hills, right? It means both of them, they are the nuclear power. That's why from that particular period of time we don't have full scale war, because now both of us we are having the nuclear weapons, so that rapid armaments are there in both the side. But both the government continue to suspicious of each other. The Indian government has blamed Pakistan government for using a strategy of low-key violence by helping the Kashmiri militant with arms, training, money and protections to carry out the terrorist strikes against India, right? The Indian government also believed that the Pakistani had added the pro-Khalistani, it was a movement was there in the northwestern part of India, you can see in Punjab, and Punjab में Khalistan, there was a demand of Khalistan, you can see एक different states from पंजाब को तोड़ के एक नया कंट्री खालिस्तान का डिमांड हो रहा था, एंड देयर इटसेल्फ यू कैन से 1985 से लेकर 95 के बीच में चला है। पाकिस्तान का कहीं ना कहीं उसमें ISI का हाथ रहा। ISI दैट इज इंटर स्टेट्स इंटर सर्विसेज इंटेलिजेंस, ISI दिस इज द एजेंसी ऑफ पाकिस्तान, राइट? The government of Pakistan in turns blamed the Indian government and its security agencies for fermenting troubles in the provinces of Sindh and Balochistan, right? Because Sindh and Balochistan, basically Balochistan में बलूच The people of Baluch, you can say, they are always fighting against, they are protesting against Pakistan for a new state of Baluchistan. And at the same time, in that Baluchistan or POK, in that particular area, China, they started making a corridor, economic corridor, you can say. India and Pakistan also have a problem over the sharing of the river water. Until 1960, they were locked into a argument over the use of the rivers of the Indus Basin or Indus Water Treaty. Eventually, in 1960, with the help of the World Bank, India and Pakistan signed the Indus Water Treaty, which has survived to this day in spite of the various military conflict in which the two countries have been involved. There are still some minor differences about the interpretations of the Indus Water Treaties and the use of the river water. Still, the two countries are not in agreement over the demarcation of the line of Creek and Rhine of Kutch. अगर इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान का जो बॉर्डर लाइन है LOC, राइट, LOC देखेंगे तो मोर और लेस यू कैन से जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के एरिया में LOC इज वेल डिफाइंड विद द फेंसिंग बाउंड्रीज एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स देयर. कुछ एरिया ऐसा है जो कि डेजर्ट एरिया में, रैन ऑफ कच्छ गुजरात का एरिया में, दो देयर इज फेंसिंग यू कैन से, स्टिल देयर इज अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ डिफरेंसेस ओपिनियन इन टर्म्स ऑफ द बाउंड्री ऑल्सो, राइट. Then these are all the things already I discussed about, you can say, Bangladesh, Nepal, monarchy in Nepal, all these details of Nepal, ethnic division problems, right. India, the other neighboring country. The government of India and Bangladesh have had a difference over the several issues, including the sharing of the Ganga and Brahmaputra water. And the Indian government has been unhappy with Bangladesh's denial of illegal immigrations. 1970 और 72 के टाइम में जब इंडो पाकिस्तान वॉर हुआ था एंड क्रिएशन ऑफ बांग्लादेश होता है, उस टाइम मिलियंस ऑफ यू कैन से बांग्लादेशी इन्फ्लेटर्स दे केम टू इंडिया एंड सेटल इन डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया. एंड आज भी वो डिस्प्यूट्स, वो जो इमिग्रेंट्स का जो डिस्प्यूट्स हैं वो सेटल नहीं हो पाया है. एंड स्टिल इनका बांग्लादेश से रिफ्यूजर टू अलाउ दिस इन नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न इंडिया एंड इट्स डिसीजंस नॉट टू एक्सपोर्ट द नेचुरल गैस टू इंडिया और अलाउ म्यांमार टू डू सो थ्रू द बांग्लादेश टेरिटरी. नेचुरल गैस का जो पाइपलाइन लगाने वाले थे हम लोग म्यांमार से, म्यांमार एक्चुअली बांग्लादेश का ईस्टर्न बाउंड्री में है एंड हम इंडिया वेस्टर्न बाउंड्री में, तो बांग्लादेश के अंदर से हम गैस का पाइपलाइन लेना चाहते थे, जो बांग्लादेश गवर्नमेंट मना कर दिया. इन स्पाइट ऑफ दैट वी आर हैविंग वेरी गुड रिलेशनशिप, यू कैन से, दोनों के बीच में बहुत अच्छा रिलेशनशिप है, वेरी गुड ट्रेड रिलेशनशिप. कल्चरली यू कैन से बोथ ऑफ अस आर कल्चरली एसिमिलेटेड एंड डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यू, वी हैव वेल गुड डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज एंड इकोनॉमिकली ऑल्सो इंडिया के साथ बहुत सारे एग्रीमेंट बांग्लादेश के बीच में साइन हुआ है, ऑलरेडी वी डिस्कस इन द प्रीवियस मॉड्यूल्स. Despite their differences, India and Bangladesh cooperate in many issues. Economic relations has improved considerably in the last 10 years. Bangladesh is the part of the India's Look East policy and that wants to link up with the Southeast Asia through Myanmar. हम तो साउथ एशिया है, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया म्यांमार के थ्रू से आगे जाने के लिए. On the basis, on the other hand, you concern the disaster management and the environmental issues. The two states or the two countries have cooperated regularly. Coming to the next one is Nepal. Already I discussed a lot about Nepal. Nepal and India, both of them, yes, you share, you can say, almost similar type of culture and so many things, you can say. And the relationship is, right from the very beginning, it's a very good and the cordial relationships are existed in between these two countries. Even more or less, you can say, this is the only country which sharing the boundary with India, we don't need any visa or passport, you can say, to go to Nepal, or neither the Nepalese, they come to India and they need visa and passports. Even the Indian currency, in Nepal maybe there is no need to exchange Indian currency directly accepted in Nepal. So Nepal और इंडिया के बीच में का भी रिलेशनशिप बहुत अच्छा है. Nepal is exactly in the foothill of Himalayas, but in last a decade or you can say 5 or 7 years, you can say we have seen that there is considerably it's created a gulf between India and Nepal because China started interfering with Nepal. क्योंकि नेपाल में चाइना इंटरफियर करके इकोनॉमिकली और बाकी सब हेल्प नेपाल को करके द बाउंड्री और द एरिया ग्रेजुअली क्या कर रहा है, नेपाल में धीरे धीरे चाइना इंटरफेयर करके अंदर घुसना शुरू हो गया, इन्फिल्ट्रेशन करना शुरू हो गया, एनक्रोचमेंट करना शुरू हो गया. एंड इट मेक्स ईजियर फॉर चाइना टू अटैक इंडिया फ्रॉम द नेपालीज टेरिटरीज. दैट्स वाई नेपाल को इकोनॉमिकली हेल्प करके, देन द माओइस्ट हैं एंड देन कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी है, कहीं ना कहीं वो इंक्लिनेशन उसका चाइना की तरफ ज़्यादा है, एंड चाइना चाहता है कि नेपालीज टेरिटरीज को कब्जा करके और यूज करके वहीं से इंडिया के साथ वो लड़ाई लड़े या आगे का जो भी स्ट्रेटेजी, इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रेटेजी जो भी है। इंडिया नेपाल के बीच में बहुत सारे एग्रीमेंट साइन है, उसमें हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है तो प्रिवेंट द, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द रिवर्स विच कम्स फ्रॉम नेपाल टू इंडिया एंड विच ब्रिंग्स लॉट्स ऑफ वाटर, तो उसको फ्लड कंट्रोल करने के लिए बहुत सारे हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट बनाया गया है। इंडो नेपाल रिलेशंस आर फेयरली स्टेबल एंड पीसफुल डिस्पाइट डिफरेंसेस, ट्रेड, साइंटिफिक कोऑपरेशंस, कॉमन नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, then electricity generations and interlocking water management grids hold the two countries together. There is a hope that the consideration of the democracy in Nepal will lead the improvements in the ties between these two countries. And presently, for last you can say 5 or 10 years, or the couple of years, Nepal is having a stable democracy, and earlier it was a monarchical form of government. Later you can say it became a constitutional monarchy, and now presently constitutional republic. The difficulties in the relationship between, coming to the next one is Sri Lanka. Already I talked today itself, I talked about Sri Lanka, so not to discuss. Coming to the next one is India enjoy a very special relationship with Bhutan. Right? It's a very small country, so you discuss about Bangladesh, you discuss about Pakistan, you discuss about Nepal, you discuss about Sri Lanka. Now you are supposed to discuss about a little about Bhutan. Bhutan too that does not have any major conflicts with the Bhutanese government with India. The efforts made by the Bhutanese monarchs to weed out the guerrilla and the militant from the northeastern India that operate in its country have been helpful to India. एंड जो भी इंसर्जेंसी था या नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न प्रोविंसेस में हमारा जो प्रॉब्लम था, दैट प्रॉब्लम बीइंग सॉर्टेड आउट, राइट। इंडिया इज इन्वॉल्व इन वीक हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट इन भूटान एंड रिमेन्स द हिमालयन किंगडम्स द बिगेस्ट सोर्स ऑफ डेवलपमेंट एड। इंडियाज टाइज विद द, कम टू द नेक्स्ट वन, Maldives you can say. In terms of Maldives, it's again an island country towards Indian Ocean and with the Sri Lanka. In November 1988, when some of the Tamils from Sri Lanka attacked Maldives, the Indian Air Force and the Navy reacted quickly to the Maldives' request to help stop the invasion. And India also have contributed towards the island economic development and tourism and fisheries in Maldives. You may have noticed that India is have various problems with its smaller neighboring with the regions. Given its size and power, they bound to be suspicious of the India's intention. हर किसी को लगता है, because this is very true, you can say India is the first country and the biggest country in terms of each and everything, चाहे एरिया में लो या पावर, इकोनॉमिक रिसोर्सेस, मिलिट्री एंड कैपेबिलिटीज एंड ईच एंड एवरीथिंग। तो हर जितना भी हमारे जो साउथ एशिया है, हर एक छोटे कंट्री को लगता है कि इट्स बड़ा कंट्री है, तो कहीं ना कहीं उसका वो बेनिफिट ले रहा है और उनको प्रेशराइज करके उनका ट्रेड, कॉमर्स एंड बाकी चीज़ को अपने हाथ में लेने की कोशिश करते हैं। दैट्स द बेसिक रीजन, यू कैन से ग्रेजुअली हर कोई उनको लगता है कि इंडिया एनक्रोचमेंट करने जा रहा है, चाहे ट्रेड एनक्रोचमेंट हो या पॉलिटिकल एनक्रोचमेंट इन अदर एस्पेक्ट्स, यू कैन से। दैट्स व्हाई ग्रेजुअली यू कैन से द रिलेशनशिप अमंग ऑल दोज नेबरिंग कंट्रीज लिटिल बिट टेंस, right? Then the next and the last one was the last one to be discussed, that is the peace cooperation, the peace and cooperation through SAARC, right, and SAPTA. These are the two organizations. In spite of many conflicts, the state of South Asia recognized the importance of cooperations and friendly relationship among themselves, and we wanted to, because almost all the country of the South Asia, once upon a time it was being ruled by the Europeans. So you, furthermore, you can see you don't want to be ruled by anyone else. So what we have to do, that we have to develop our economy. So economic development होना बहुत सख्त जरूरत है। तो economic development एक दूसरे का होने, in spite of you are having the regional differences, cultural differences, linguistic differences, religious differences, and so many other things you can say, but we try to come together in order to build our own economy and to make us strong. So the South Asian Association for the Regional Cooperation, SAARC, a major regional initiative by the South Asian states to involve cooperations through multilateral means. This already I talk about. SAARC 1985 established, you can say, and the full form of SAARC is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and these, or you can say, um, the Indian subcontinent or the country of the Indian subcontinent, they become the members of the SAARC. SAARC has not had much success. SAARC members signed the South Asian Free Trade, that is known as SAPTA, in the year 2004. The trade agreement which promised the formation of the free trade zone for the entire South Asia, so that economic, special economic zone, SEZ type का एक special economic zone type का बनाया जाए, so that very easily all those the members country of the SAARC, they can have their own trade relationship with all these members. The new chapter of the peace and cooperations might involve the South Asia if all the country in this region allow free trade across the border. And this is the spirit behind the idea of SAPTA. The agreement was signed in the year 2004 and came into force on 1st January 2006. And SAPTA has its own regulation there. 20%, it will be going to reduce the 20% tariff by 2007. But again, I told previously that, but some of our neighboring fear that the SAPTA is the way for India to invade their markets, because जितना भी साउथ एशियन एसोसिएशन ऑफ रीजनल कोऑपरेशन में जो भी मेंबर्स कंट्री आते हैं उससे सबसे पावरफुल इंडिया है, तो हर किसी को ये लगने लगा था कि दिस इज द वे थ्रू सार्क एंड सप्ता दैट इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एनक्रोचमेंट करेगा उनका ट्रेड एंड अदर बिजनेसेस, अदर एक्टिविटीज में. India thinks that there are real economic benefits from the SAPTA, and the regions that trade more freely will be able to cooperate better on political issues also. Some in India think that SAPTA is not worth the trouble since India already has bilateral agreement with Bhutan, Nepal and Sri Lanka. And even maybe that this the country they thought like this, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि जितना भी नेबरिंग कंट्री है हमारा उसके साथ हम लोग का ट्रेड रिलेशनशिप नहीं है. बहुत अच्छा ट्रेड रिलेशनशिप है और हर किसी के साथ बायलैटरल ट्रेड रिलेशनशिप है. सो बेसिकली इन टर्म्स ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर एरिया South Asia, you can say, or the Indian subcontinent, in last few decades or the last decades, it's changed the scenario. In the post-Cold War scenario also, it changed the scenario. Initially, Pakistan and India was the arch enemy always since 1947. Initially, Pakistan was directly or indirectly being supported by USA, and presently, Pakistan got its own support from China, and India directly or indirectly got its support from the rest of the Southeast Asian country, almost all the Southeast Asian country, US and even Russia. And now the camp being created. These buffers country, the big country, they try to take the opportunity or the benefit out of the fighting between these two countries. कहीं ना कहीं USA इंडिया का साइड ले रहा है, and China they are taking the side of Pakistan, and it may create difficulties in later period of time, right? So last things that I wanted to discuss, that's the timeline, right? So I'll be discussing now the timeline. So the entire chapter is completed, you can say, and in this particular chapter we talks about Pakistan, we talks about Bangladesh, we talks about Nepal, we talks about in detail Sri Lanka, we talks about Bhutan, we talks about Maldives, we talks about, you can say, SAPTA, we talks about SAARC. So almost we can say in South Asia, whatever the things are there, we talks a lot about each and everything. Now let me just read out the timeline of South Asia since 1947. 1947, India and Pakistan got independence from the British rule, and both of them they divided into two different kingdoms. 1948, Sri Lanka, otherwise known as Ceylon, gains independence, and Indo-Pak conflicts over Kashmir also started. 1954-55, Pakistan joined the Cold War military blocs SEATO and CENTO, Southeast Association of Southeast Asian Treaty Organization and Central Treaty Organization. 1960 September, India and Pakistan signed the Indus Water Treaty. 1962, the borders conflict between India and China, and we have Indo-China war also during that particular period of time. 1965, India-Pakistan war, UN India-Pakistan observation mission being established in order to settle the disputes. 1966, India and Pakistan signed the Tashkent Agreement, 6-point proposal of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman for greater autonomy to Pakistan. Right? In 1971 March, proclamation of independence by the leader of Bangladesh. right? In 1971 August, Indo-Soviet Treaty for the Friendship being signed for 20 years. 19 In the month of December 1971, Indo-Pak War, liberation of Bangladesh, and a new country Bangladesh being created. East Pakistan was otherwise known as being created as Bangladesh. 1972 July, India and Pakistan signed the Simla Agreement, right after this creation of Bangladesh. 1974 May, India conducts nuclear test. 1976 Pakistan and Bangladesh established diplomatic relationship. Otherwise, after the partition, after the creation of Bangladesh, there was no diplomatic relationship between these two countries. 1985 December, South Asian leaders signed SAARC, right? SAARC charter at the first summit in Dhaka, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. 1987 Indo-Sri Lankan Accords, Indian Peacekeeping Force IPKF operations in Sri Lanka, right? Because they have in Sri Lanka there was a problem of LTTE and there was a problem in between Sinhalas and Tamils. 1988 India sends troops to the to Maldives to foil a coup attempt by mercenaries India's and Pakistan. Right. At the same time, India and Pakistan also signed the agreement not to attack nuclear installations and facilities to each other, because both of them now they became the nuclear country. 1988-91 democracy restorations in Pakistan, Bangladesh and Nepal, all the countries. 1996 December, India and Bangladesh signs Farakka Treaty for sharing of the water of Ganga. 1998 May, India and Pakistan conduct nuclear test. December, India and Sri Lanka signed the Free Trade Agreement FTA. 1999 February, Indian Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee undertakes bus journey to Lahore to sign a peace declarations. In the month of June and July, Kargil conflict, the Kargil war between India and Pakistan. 2001, in the month of July, Vajpayee Musharraf Agra summit successful. 2004 January, Sapta signed at the 12th SAARC summit in Islamabad, and since then also the relationship, you can say, between relationship in this Indian subcontinent, or otherwise known as South Asia, is very peaceful, except in one or two circumstances that basically in between India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan को छोड़ दें तो almost the relationship is very cordial. Though since a long period of time India और पाकिस्तान के बीच में भी कोई direct confrontation नहीं हुआ है या किसी के साथ कोई confrontation नहीं है. Almost all each and all the countries you can say they are economically also prospering, and the relationship, if you can see among all these South Asian country, are more or less, you can say, it's very stable relationship. Even if with India and Pakistan we are having the problem of terrorism, in spite of that the relationship is very stable. Since 1900 after Kargil war, there is no such war being fought in between these two countries. So this is all about South Asia, and today I will be sharing the question answer, the PDF, in terms of the PDF format. The question answer will be shared to you. At the same time, whatever the things being taught in all those previous modules, the notes also will be shared to you. And yesterday we got the result of class 12, and humanity students, they did brilliant. In political science, 2 of the students, they have got 100 out of 100. The highest score of humanities is 98%, and which is praiseworthy. We have, you can say, break the last year benchmark, and hope you all will also do better in 2021 examinations. That's it for today. Thank you. God bless you.